It's a great day to start, stories to tell, people to share with, and knowledge to acquire. This is the On Point Show, where conversations meets on point of views. Please welcome your host, Krisha Maiso.
Mabuhay! Welcome to the On Point Show, where conversation meets on point of views, while bringing you timely and relevant talk show. A great stories to tell, people to share with, and knowledge to acquire. It is evident that our world is filled with risks and anticipated happenings. Way back 2019, a pandemic had contaminated the whole world until present. In connection with this, to surmount the circumstance, social protection system is at hand. Furthermore, for us to attain a better understanding and acquire knowledge of what is social protection programs and all affairs affiliated with the such, we invited guests, especially social workers who work with the social protection system in the Philippines and international setting. Our first guest is the head of the social protection system is with us. He is Mr. Maynard M. Opeñano, RSW. He earned his bachelor degree of social work at the University of the Philippines. He worked with different national governmental agencies such as NBALE, NCIP, PSWD, and NFA. He spearheaded the overall efforts of the government to protect the poor and vulnerable society in our country in the year 2015 until present. Mr. Opeñano had been based on an international setting later in his term. He worked with an international agency, the UNICEF, which is leading global partner in the field of social protections to fight for poverty, which is a global concern. With his significant contributions in the field of social protection, he received myriad of recognitions and awards. Our next guest speaker, whose young lady expertise yet stunning social workers who serve as Executive Secretary of the National Federations of Women's Club. She is a former Filipino social worker in the Philippines who had a big contributions to the field of social work. Her contributions are remarkable, symbolic, and prominent yet. She dedicated her career and life to advancing social justice. Further, that she fueled her commitment to child and maternal health and served the prisoners of war and civilian internists, and covertly provided personal and medical supplies to hostages in various camps. She's been known as a famous and outstanding social worker ever since, and attained many awards, tributes, compliments, and eulogies for doing her overall best and efforts in the country. Our last guest speaker, who is very young and active social worker who helps poor people. She is based in an international setting in social protection. Her contributions are very crucial and evident. In addition, she helped India in fight against discriminations against people suffering from leprosy. And she has received numerous awards in her life for her contributions to society. It is amazing to know that you have been working with various national governmental agencies. How is it?
Undeniably, it was tiring but somehow fulfilling. Through collaborating with these agencies, the efforts exuded by our government were evident and apparent. As we all know, our country, the Philippines, is in the pit of poverty, and it's everyone's aim to ascend from that pit. With this incessant aim, the Philippine social protection system was established, which is the overall effort of our government to protect the poor and vulnerable people in our society.
Yeah, Mr. Opeñano, you just hit the nail right on the head. And then, this poverty is prevalent concern, but what are the social protections that protects the poor and vulnerable people across our country?
The Philippine social protection system has 4 elements: the labor market interventions, social welfare programs, social safety nets, and social insurance. And each of these elements had programs and services administered by corresponding national government agency.
system.
Labor market interventions are government measures that enhance employment opportunities in the country and advance Filipino workers' rights and welfare. The goal of this intervention is to address the risk of underemployment, unemployment, and loss of income in the country. These interventions include skills development training, labor and trade policies, and agricultural support.
These interventions are really great. Especially the COVID-19 had affected countless Filipino and had lost their job, and this certain element of the social protections is a huge help to them. On the other hand, what about the social welfare, Mr. Opiniano?
Social welfare involves preventive and developmental interventions that seek to support the minimum basic requirements of the poor and reduce risk associated with unemployment, resettlement, marginalization, illness and disability, old age, and loss of family care. These programs are usually direct assistance in the form of cash or in-kind transfers.
The objectives of this element bears resemblance with the previous element, and I guess this initiative has made a difference to Filipino lives, especially to the poor. Moving on, what is social safety nets all about? Is this far different from social welfare?
Social safety nets are non-contributory programs, stopgap mechanisms, or urgent responses that address the effects of economic shocks, disasters, and calamities on specific vulnerable groups. These are measures that target the affected groups with the specific objective of providing relief and transition. Measures include emergency assistance, rice subsidies, food programs, retraining programs, and emergency loans.
Okay. These social safety nets are the responses we have seen during the pandemic in our country, as well as the previous calamities. Our country had experienced several earthquakes and floods. Now, I gain better understanding these elements. May I know, Mr. Opiniano, how does social insurance protects the people?
Social insurance are contributory programs that seek to mitigate the income risks by pooling resources and spreading risk across time and classes. Beneficiaries pay a premium over a given period to cover and protect them from loss of income and employment as a result of illness, injury, disability, retrenchment, harvest failure, maternity, or old age.
Thank you so much, Mr. Opiniano. Let's proceed to Ms. Cheryl. Will you tell us what are these programs and services being offered?
Okay, the social protection programs and services aim to reduce the child, people, and community poverty as act as a safety net for families with minimal resources. So we have the social protection includes the three types of programs. We have first the social assistance, publicly provided assistance and welfare services programs for the vulnerable groups with inadequate means of support, including the single mothers, the homeless, or the physically or mentally challenged people. They also provide the conditional or unconditional cash or in-kind transfers or public works programs. The second one, we have the social insurance, the contributory programs that cover designated contingencies affecting the welfare or income of the households, and also to ensure the programs to caution the rest associated with unemployment, ill health, disability, work-related injury, and old age. We have the labor market protection, provides unemployment benefits, generated employment, build skills, train workers to improve the working conditions, and promote efficient operations. They also have the micro area-based schemes to address the vulnerability and the community level, including the micro-insurance, agriculture insurance, social funds, and the programs to manage the natural disasters. And we have also the child protection to ensure the healthy and productive development of its children. So we have the social welfare programs. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, is the executive department of the Philippines government responsible for the protection of the social welfare of rights of Filipinos to promote the social development. We we have the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program is a human development program that invests conditional or cash transfer in the health and education of the poor families, primarily those with the children age of 0 to 18. And then we have the Kalahi Seeds, no, the NCDDP, the Comprehensive and Integrated Delivery of Social Services. The National Community-Driven Development Program, Kalahi Seeds, is the community-driven development program of the Philippines government implemented through the Department of Social Welfare and Development. That's supplemented by the government of the Philippines. And we have also the Sustainable Livelihood Program. It is a community-based capacity building efforts that seeks to improve the program's participants in socio-economic status through the two tracks that we have the micro-enterprise development and employment facilitation. We have also, we call it the PAMANA, Adoption and Foster Care, Center and Residential Care Facilities, and we have also the social services, no, which are we have the healthcare, education, police, charitable organization, disability service, labor laws, crisis support service, the youth service, no, we have also the emergency relief, the aged care, or the public housing. Now, the social service programs provided by the government and social services agencies aim to help the individuals, families, groups, and communities to enhance their individual and collective well-being and to promote equity and opportunity in communities. Social services programs now include the social or income assistance services for children and adults with developmental disabilities, community service for specific populations as well as child as spousal support or others. Social service are a range of public services intended to provide and support the assistance towards particular groups which commonly include the disadvantaged. They may be provided by individual actors, the private and independent or organizations, or administered by a government agency. So, that's it. Thank you.
What are the roles and responsibilities of Philippine social workers and social protection programs? Thank you so much, Ms. Cheryl. Let's ask again to Mr. Opiniano. Mr. Opiniano, you have been based in an international setting for almost 6 years and work with UNICEF. Is the approach of the social protection system in the international setting is different from the Philippines?
The objectives of social protection vary widely across the globe, but it bears resemblance. Risks are inevitable and this world is filled with unfortunate happenings. So with this, social protection system in international setting help individuals and family, especially the poor and vulnerable, cope with crisis and shocks, find jobs, invest in the health and education of their children, and protect the aging population.
We're on the same page, Mr. Opiniano, when you have said that this world is filled with unfortunate happening and it's proved by the situations we are in right now where an unprecedented pandemic had contaminated the world. And this social protection system is a great help to those people who greatly affected by this pandemic. So much for that, Mr. Opiniano. What benefits did the people around the globe get from these initiatives?
Social protection has wide-ranging benefits actually. It includes strengthening access to nutrition, health, and education, reducing intergenerational transmission of poverty, promoting political stability, and achieving economic growth. In international setting, the social protection system core function is to protect the people, build resilience, employ the jobless, and respond on crisis.
Wow! Thank you so much, Mr. Opiniano, for sharing your knowledge and experience in social work. So, let's ask to Ms. Miharis. And may you tell us what are these programs and services being offered?
They have the profession ethics
aspects of social work with social workers promote social protection system in order to build system that transform communities and society in order to address the root causes and dynamics that threatens people's safety, security, and well-being. The professional principles of social work also emphasizes the social protection system are based on a development model in order to ensure social sustainability and maximize people's self-determination and influence over their own lives.
What are the rules and responsibilities?
Okay, this rule of social work in the social protection was divided into two sections. The first addresses the requirement that all people have access to competent social protection system. The second section focuses on the role of the social workers who work with people who are involved with these systems. Both parts argue that understanding of social work situates social welfare within a broader context of the social developmental model. In resulting in transformative social protection that leads to positive economic outcomes and more sustainable, stable, resilient, and harmonious societies. So part 1. The role of social protection system in sustained social development is a social protection system should have a preventive and sustainable effect, strengthening resiliency of individuals, families, and communities, and enhancing the capability to react to risks of life. Second is the social protection should better the quality of life of vulnerable populations living in precarious situations that may have few of any resources to help them through the crises and disasters that they may encounter in their life path. They should also promote the realization of basic human rights and make a crucial contribution to establishing social justice. So part 2, the role of the social worker in social protection system. Individuals cannot live sustainable, fulfilled lives unless they are interdependently connected in a social framework, which is embedded in the theoretical and practice understanding of the social work profession. As a result, an important goal of the profession is to improve social protection systems so that people can live in social environments with confidence, security, dignity, and full realization of their rights. Social workers' daily tasks around the world include promoting people's solidarity, encouraging people to care for others, and encouraging people to respect the rights of others, increasing family, community, and societal solidarity.
Thank you everyone for making time in your busy schedules to join us here today. We wish you all a pleasant day. May God bless and guide us all. Thank you. Now, who would like to ask Ms.
Good day everyone, my due respect to all our guests, ma'am and sir. My warmest and deepest greetings to you. I am Regilo Latayada, a freshman student of social work here in the University of Science and Technology of the Southern Philippines. Actually, ma'am, I am still a bit confused on what field I am venturing after earning my degree and after hearing all your affairs on the social protection in the international setting, ma'am. I was amazed as well as inspired by all your endeavors and see myself to be someone working hand in hand in the social protection system internationally. Mami Harris, my question is, can you give us some tips to be a successful one in this track I have chosen, the social work? And also, what advice can you give to us students that want to follow your footsteps to be a social worker someday?
Hello to you, Miss Latayada, and all the students here. Yes, I am grateful that you are taking up Bachelor of Science in Social Works. We need a lot of social workers in the future. But anyway, to answer your questions, tips. What tips I can give? Okay, I'll give you tips even though I don't follow tips when I was just a student. Take note of this. So first, you must ready yourself for upcoming battles with your own self. Second, Stay firm when the battles begin. Third, cry but don't give up when disappointments happen. Fourth is wipe your tears and get up, smile, and be motivated again. Just think about your future self. Think about why you choose this path. The last one is to reward yourself and protect your mental health. I am rooting for you all students who's taking up Bachelor of Science in Social Works. Okay, the advice that I can give as an international social worker is that you must know the language of the country you are with. English is not enough, since what if you are to engage into some people who doesn't even know how to speak in English or understand it? How would you interview them? How would you know their problems, right? And also, you must know their culture. Study it. And also, this advice I'll be giving to you is, along with your journey, when life pulls you down, always remember that God will always pull you around, because you are born to be a social worker who aims to help and put others first. You are all worthy to be called licensed social workers in the Philippines or even internationally. Help yourself to become firm so that you can help others to stay firm. God bless everyone and thank you.
A blessed day, everyone. My name is Kim Shalentag. I am also a student here in UST. I was enlightened about the topic you said earlier on Philippine setting of social protection. It was very fascinating because they give a vulnerable effort and help the poor ones. I was inspired to be like you, but I am curious, if I'm going to be a social worker working on a social protection, what tips can you give to me or as students on how to deal the clients correctly? In addition, I would like to ask this. Does the program and services offered by the social protection are only for those people who are poor? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for asking. Okay, so giving you all the tips, especially to the students, no, the tips that I can give and advice for you students to be able to deal with the clients properly, because sooner you students of today's generation will become the future social worker ahead. So as you know, social workers are often in the role of managing a client's feelings. At times, clients may present as they are angry, hostile, or even violent. So it is important that social workers are prepared to handle this potentially or the uncomfortable or unsafe situations with the highest level of professionalism and safeguards. So by these tips, you might be able to manage your situations with your clients. So the first step is you must stay calm. Remaining calm is the key to managing the most situations, no matter how angry the client is. Role modeling calm composure for a client can be helpful by portraying a calm demeanor. An atmosphere of safety and comfort is provided to help the client relax. So the second is listen. Listening to the client can also be helpful. The client may simply need to vet the feelings or have their information heard by someone. Listening to the client can provide detailed information that may not have been known previously. So it can also help to create an effective communication and aid in essential in relationship building. And then the third is remind the client that you are there to help. The client may be present as angry as a result of things out of your control, or may simply be angry at the current situation. So whether it is to advocate or for the best interest the client or the children involved, it is important to remind that the client that you are working together. And then the fourth is we have the empathize. Often clients are in need of social work services due to stressful situations in their lives. So simply extending an empathy can help bridge that any gaps and foster a sense of safety within the relationship. So showing compassion and care can go a long way. So the fifth is we have established and maintain boundaries. If yelling or profanity is used, it may be helpful to remind clients that you would like to hear all that they have to say, but you need them to adhere to a certain rule of communication, such as is in speaking in a calm voice and not using a profanity. And then the last one is take precautions to ensure the safety. If you are aware that a client may be angry before a meeting, it is important to take necessary precautions, meeting in an open area with other people present, alerting supervisors and colleges of meeting with potentially angry client ahead of a time. So that's it. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to talk about the social protection programs and services. It is not only for the poor family, yet it is for the overall. Giving and offering of programs and services have no exemptions of people or favoritism, since their main goal is to help and provide families and people who suffer scarcity of needs and lack of basic care, support, and assistance. But majority of their target is the poor and vulnerable family. Again, for social protection programs and services are not only for the poor people, yet it is for the overall well-being, especially the vulnerable groups. Thank you.
Once again, we would like to extend our gratitude to each of us, especially to our guests. Thank you everyone for joining us here. We are indeed so grateful and blessed. Thank you everyone for making time in your busy schedules to join us here today. Wish you all a pleasant day. May God bless and guide us all. Thank you!
Thank you for watching. This has been the On Point Show, where conversations meets on point of views. Signing off.